Hey everybody, we're just gonna wait for more people to jump on. Since I didn't post that I was gonna do this, it's just very random. You guys get to see me tonight with no makeup. This is what I look like normally when I'm like doing the cards. So this is why I only film my hands most of the time. But tonight I have something I want to talk about. How's everybody doing tonight? We're gonna give everyone some time to hop on. Hi Jane, hi Osa. Hey everybody. How's everybody doing? I wanted to jump on here and have a little bit of a discussion about today's video for those of you who saw it and some of the responses that I got. And so I thought this might be a good conversation to have. So I probably won't be on here super long, but I thought, you know what, this is a good conversation to have. What I really should be doing right now is I should be filming a video for you guys for tomorrow morning, but here we are. Glad to see that everybody's doing good and hanging in there with everything that's going on. I know there is a lot going on right now. So before I get into the main topic of tonight, while we're waiting, let's just chit chat about how we're doing as far as watching news. You know, I have found that I have to pull myself back a lot more than I was. I was finding for some reason I kept getting these like horror stories that would come through my feed about just terrible things that happen to children. It's always children. And I get to where like I can feel my stomach churning and it's just like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I scrolling through my social media and just constantly feeling like worse and worse and worse? And I think that everybody is doing that right now. We're all caught in this doom cycle where I think a lot of us are constantly checking for like, when are we going to get the news that something really bad's happened? You know, it's like, when are we going to get the news that like there's been a really bad attack or, you know, there's been a really bad earthquake or something, you know? I feel like, or, you know, that 45 has done something just catastrophic, even more catastrophic than he has. So I really want to encourage all of you to really be aware of how much of that you're consuming. It's really important to be educated and know what's going on and be informed and be part of the solution. But then there's another thing where you're in it 24/7. That's not good for anyone. And it's not good for the energy of the collective, right? Because we know that like attracts like. That is just a law of science. Like attracts like. So whatever we're experiencing, whatever we're feeling, we're going to attract more of that. It's like when you wake up and you have a bad day, and then it's just like the rest of the day just continues to get bad. It's like that, right? It's like getting stuck in that energy. So we have to, as much as we can, know what's going on, be part of the solution, but then also protect ourselves in our energy so that we can help ourselves and our families and the collective. Okay, because we're not helping anybody when we're just constantly stressed out. Yeah. It seems like you guys are like all right there, kind of doing the same thing that I am. It's just it's so tough, you know. The other thing I want to talk about really quickly while we're waiting for everyone to jump in here before we get into like our main topic is let's talk about what happened in Spain and Portugal on Monday. So they had a massive power outage and it did affect some cell phones. I don't know if it affected all of them. I believe the power was out for about 12 hours. Now, last I heard, they didn't know what caused it. If somebody has heard something more recent, put it in the comments. But um I did a video, I don't know, like a month or two ago, maybe 2 months ago, where I talked about getting prepared, and how I've prepared, like just little things I've done. And it's funny because a lot of people, most people were cool, but a lot of people gave me some like, you're, this is crazy, like this is so extreme. And you guys should see the video. There's like, I'm not like a prepper at all. So like my prep is like tiny, I think anyway. But what happened in Spain is a total prime example of why I am prepared. Because if that would have happened here in the US, I would have been fine because I would have had my little battery operated radio where I could still like connect to the radio frequency communications. I have my little solar generators all charged up, ready to go. Like I would have been fine. We wouldn't have been panicking, and so that's why I'm like, just make yourself comfortable because you never know when just that kind of stuff's going to happen. But I think we're going to see so much more of that. And we're going to be seeing, hey, Nathan, we're going to be seeing it here in the US. So be prepared, okay? We're not going to be freaked out and we're not going to be scared, but we're going to be prepared. And we're going to talk about that fear part, the not being scared. That's what I want to talk about in this evening. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight, what I want to talk about tonight. The whole reason I jumped on the internet, like I said, with no makeup on, because I feel like this is I think what needs to be said is more important than the presentation. The message is more important than the presentation. So I want to talk about the video I posted this morning where I showed the video by Rick Vade. You guys overwhelmingly liked that video. I mean, it was a hard one to watch, but I got so much positive feedback as far as watching his video. Okay. So he has such a unique perspective, and I've really been like looking at what his perspective is. And he comes from I've been reading, this is actually the book that he recommended, The Science of Being and Art of Living, and it's Maharishi Mahesh. So this is that Hindu Vedic tradition, and there's so much of that the mythology, the stories that are in there that parallel stories that are in the Bible, stories that are in Greek mythology. It's just one more version of all of the stuff that lines up. And just like doing a deep dive and looking at his stuff, he's really, really educated. And he did some videos on Maharishi where he explains who he is and just about him. And he explains it in a way that makes it so easy to understand. It makes something that's kind of complicated. It breaks it all down. So if you've ever wanted to know or learn more about that tradition, check out his videos. They're really good. But in addition to you guys liking his video and finding it really interesting, it sparked a lot of anxiety. So I got a comment on the video, and I don't remember what it said, and I don't want to put the person on the spot. But it was just like, they had like a ton of questions, and the questions were like, what if this catastrophic thing happens or that catastrophic thing happens, and then how am I going to know that I'm okay and I'm spiritual but I'm afraid? And I looked at the comment, and just reading it gave me anxiety. Like, I just read that comment and I was like, I can't even like respond respond to this because it was just like I could feel the fear and anxiety like jumping out of that comment and like attacking me. Um Not in a bad way, just like getting my attention. And I thought, you know what? This person is probably not alone. This is probably the one person that actually said what everyone else is actually thinking. So I thought, you know what? I want to talk about it. I want to address this. So let's talk about the fear we have, right? Because whenever there's anything that's unknown that's coming, there's always this fear. There's always fear of change, especially when we don't know what's coming. And we're hearing so many, there's so many different contradicting stories you guys are hearing, like 3 days of darkness and Earth split and Nostradamus and Trump. And so you're getting like, especially in the spiritual community, you're getting it thrown at you from every which way. So what I'm going to encourage everyone to do is first to take a deep breath. Okay. No one knows for certain what's going to happen. Okay. And I feel like the variations in what's being said are variations in people's interpretations of what's coming. So I don't think it's going to be like this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. I think that a lot of those things are probably the same thing and they've just probably been interpreted a little differently. So don't get caught up on the details of like, TikTok, when's that earth split going to happen? Because we don't know if that's metaphorical or if, who knows? I'm going to say this. If you are drawn to this kind of content and you are here and you're seeking something like this, then chances are really, really, really good that you are A-okay. Okay? The people who are not, and I say this all the time, the people who are not going to be okay are the people who don't see it coming. Now, with that being said, some people want more reassurance. I get it. You want a sign of your sign or you want a little more guidance. So let me give it to you. If you are scared of where you're going, okay? Really, because that's what it comes down to, because we know that there's some big catastrophic things that are going to happen. And so there's that fear of like, it's that dichotomy of like heaven and hell. Am I a goodie or am I a baddie? Am I on the good list or am I on the naughty list? Like, where are we going? So if that's the conundrum that you're facing, okay, if that's what's stressing you out, do something nice for someone. Show people a little more patience, even when they're driving you crazy, even if they're wearing a stupid MAGA hat. It's about, we've got to get more into that energy. And it's not for anyone else. It's great. And it's helping everyone else, but it's for yourself. Okay? It's for your own peace of mind. And man, nothing feels better than when you've like connected with someone. And what's the best way to connect with someone? It's to help them. And there's so many ways to help people. There are so many ways to help people. You could be like me and completely like agoraphobic in your house all the time, but connecting with people on the internet, and trying to prepare them. That's a way of connecting with people. Just having conversations with people, checking in on your family, those types of things, checking in on your neighbor that you don't like. Okay. Like when you find a ball in your backyard that, like one of the neighbors kicked in, instead of just like leaving it and being annoyed that the ball's in your yard, like throw it back into their yard. It's that kind of stuff, because that's the kind of stuff that will give you the assurance that you're good, because you're going to feel good, right? If you look at people, like you just look at how you are in your life, if you have room for improvement. If you have room for improvement, now's the time to improve, and it's time to improve not to get to some like, I got to do all these good things to get to the good side. It's not about that. It's about doing those things to improve yourself for yourself, to improve your experience here on earth, you know? Um and then the other thing is the act of having faith and letting go and surrendering. And that is another thing that is really difficult to do. So, um I use this analogy when I'm talking about manifesting or manifestation with people. So people, oh my gosh, Hearts for Healing, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, so the other thing that I'm totally lost my train of thought here, guys. What were we talking? Manifestation, and how was I pulling that back in? Oh my gosh, you guys, like squirrel. Somebody in the comments help me out, jog my memory. I was talking about how to feel better. We were talking about manifestation, but I was going to I don't know. Anyway, it'll come back to me. But it's, I always tell you guys this, but we attract what we're feeling. So don't we can't expect to feel, oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. You guys are like killing me right now. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. I really, really appreciate you guys so much. But it's that looking at this opportunity for you to improve your situation and improve how you're feeling. And I just feel like, there are times are going to be bumpy. And that's, one of the things that Rick said, that I think sparked a lot of fear was the comment about how the 1 in 8, he gave a 1 in 8 ratio. One person would stay for every 8 that go. Okay, so let's talk about that, because I know that panicked a lot of people. So that's an interpretation thing. And Rick didn't say 8 people were going to die. They separate. And so the way that Rick explained it was that the one, okay, the ones that are on the, like, that we're good. Those are the people that are going to, the way he explained it, remain on earth. And that is when we go into the Satyug, I think he called it, the golden age is what I refer to it as. The other 8 people, he explains it that they will go to another planet where they resonate on that vibration. Now, I don't know. I don't know, and I haven't researched his beliefs enough to have an opinion on it. I will tell you that I think when the split happens, it's going to be very much on a spiritual level, which I think involves dimensions. Okay. So we're going to be existing on like completely different wavelengths. And think of like uh, waves, think of like vibrations and wavelengths. Okay. So you know how when we look at color, we can only see colors that are a certain wavelength. Anything like above or below that, we can't, as a humans, we can't see it. So same thing with sound. So if it's over a certain pitch, we can't hear it. And if it's below a certain pitch, we can't hear it. But that doesn't mean that other things can't hear it or see it. So we know that we are all vibrations, okay? We are vibrating particles. We are made of molecules that are constantly moving, and therefore they are in constant vibration. That means we are beings that are vibrating. We are on our own wavelength. That's when I talk about match the vibration of what you want to attract. I'm talking about exactly this, the energy in your body, okay? So that's when I'm talking about that, like that's what I'm talking about. So who's to say that we are all perhaps on the same planet, but perhaps we're vibrating at different resonances where we can no longer interact with each other? That's another theory. Okay. That's kind of my theory, or that's how it makes sense in my brain now. That does not mean I'm right, because I don't know. But to me, like, that makes sense. And I I always look at things from a scientific standpoint, like I love religion and I love mythology and I love stories, but I also love facts and I love science. So when I understand things on a scientific level, when I can understand, I know how a molecule works. I understand how a wavelength works. So when I look at the universe in those terms, then it's like, okay, that makes sense. Because it's like when our loved ones pass over, they're not here, right? But if you believe this, I know I've experienced this where there's mediumship situations where people are able to pick up people's energy that are no longer physically here. So that is a perfect example of having two people here, but not being able to experience each other. It's already happening. You know what I mean? So we're already experiencing it. We're just, yeah. Okay, let me get caught up on the comments here. Zebra Pants is in Tucson. How hot is it in Tucson? It was like 90, I don't know, 2 and 4, I don't know, in Yuma today. I'm over it. That's why I look like this all the time, you guys, because it's too hot. It's too hot. You get like one makeup video a week, and that's it. Yeah, so I think what ends up happening is, so if you guys are familiar with Bashar, so Bashar is another, um, channeler. And Bashar gives this message that, what happens when we have the transition from the 5D, because the question was, oh my gosh, I lost it. It was a really good question. Okay, the question was, will we be able to interact with the 3D? So again, I don't know, but this is information that I've heard that makes me think. Okay, so I'll share it with you guys and take it for what it's worth. So Bashar is this entity that's channeled by this gentleman named Daryl Anka. I really like Bashar because Bashar doesn't give predictions. He only did like one time, and it was the election, and it was terrifying. Other than that, he's not a prediction guy. He is talking about like what's coming. It's from a little bit different perspective. But it tracks, right? So you might want to check him out. But how Bashar explains it is that when the split is first happening, it's like there's two tracks. You've got your, the 3D track and the 5D track. And then for anyone who's like, what's the 4D? It's the transition and it's time. Okay. So he says for a while you can still hop between the two tracks. Okay, so you're on different trajectories, but people can, like make the decision to like hop over here or hop over there before the trains get going too fast or too far apart. Eventually what's going to happen though is those trains are going to get too far apart, and then you're not going to be able to jump back and forth between the tracks. And that's when that's the split. And so that's going to be like the 1 in the 8, or some people talk about the rapture, or some people talk about, yeah, I mean, like it seems like every religion has its prophecy, of like people splitting. I mean, so hi, Chemical Squirrel. Yeah, that's good. So Space Kitten, that's really good. They talk about doing things to feel better. And I've been doing a lot of readings lately for people, and it is so crazy because the one consistent thing in almost every reading, I did one reading today that was completely different, but all of the rest of them I've been doing, when you look in the position that's like creativity, your passion, everybody's is like nothing there. Like, don't have time, too stressed, like no one has time for what makes them feel passionate. And going back to Bashar, Bashar says that the best way to experience essentially this ascension is to live to your highest passion all the time in everything you do. And even when it's not easy, right? Um, and that goes along with this idea of raising your vibration or being kind to people or living the golden rule, like however you want to phrase it. Um it's that energy. So it's really important right now for people to find what they're passionate about, even when it's hard, even when you don't have time. So like some suggestions that I have given people is so perfect example today. Okay. So I started working remote. I used to work in an office. Now I work from home, which I love. But because I work remote, I oftentimes do not put makeup on and I don't do my hair. I put my hair in a bun. And this is like what I look like. And I started feeling like worse and worse and worse about myself like every day. And then I was like just dressing crappier. It's just terrible, right? So what I decided to do, I was like, this is not working anymore. But I did not want to put makeup on every day. So I took the money that I would have spent buying cosmetics and I bought myself a really nice bottle of perfume. And now every morning I take my shower, I get out, I put my hair up in a bun, and I spray on my perfume. And I smell so good and I love it and I feel good. Um, that is a simple way that I put passion back in my life where it didn't cost me anything extra because I just traded one thing for something else, right? And it only takes me like one extra second. So it's not taking more time out of my life. So it's that kind of stuff. Is it like making a meal that you don't normally make, right? Like a fancier meal. You love it, but you just don't normally like, treat yourself to it. Treat yourself to it. Um, if it's, it can be, I mean, it can really be little stuff. It can be as simple as going to the dollar store, buying a candle, a little scented candle, and every time you take a shower, lighting that candle and pretending that you're in a spa. I mean, it can really be anybody can do this on any budget. It's just, you know, if it like can you go home, can you drive home a certain way from work or walk home a certain way where you go through like a part of town that you love, just stuff like that. Because once people can start to bring that passion and that creativity back in their life, that helps to bring the energy up because then you're inspired, right? Then we have more emotions and we feel good. And yeah. One thing I do all the time is I color with colored pencils. I have so many like adult coloring books and I will just sit and color forever. I'll put on like an Audible because you guys know I love to read. So I'll just put on like an Audible book and start coloring. And next thing I know, it's been like 2 hours and my hand hurts and I've listened to like half a book. But yeah. Do you guys have any other tips for how like you guys deal with your anxiety and your fear? What helps you to find some peace? I love that. Osa has a bowling league, which that's awesome. And she plays the flute in her community band. I love that. Oh, we have a couple. Okay, so a couple people put perfume on before bed. I thought about doing that, but that felt a little like, I don't know. I felt I should just do it. Oh, zebra pants. How is diamond art? I've always seen it and I've always wanted to do it. Nikki does belly dancing. That's so cool. I love that. Nisi listens to audiobooks. Yes. Hearts for Healing. I love puzzles. Oh my gosh. My kids and I, we go crazy on puzzles. We love them. Mostly my 13-year-old. He's out there the most. My 20-year-old has he has autism and he is so funny. He's one of those kiddos that's like really advanced intellectually, but really not advanced socially. So he's like Sheldon, okay, in the most wonderful way possible. So he doesn't like to be like we have to kind of like drag him out to be around us, and so we will be doing puzzles, and we'll be like, Charlie, come join us, and he'll he won't want to do it. And I'll be like, come on, and so he'll come out to like appease me, and then he'll get into it, and then like we'll all leave, and I'll come back a few hours later, and he'll still be there, or I'll wake up the next morning and like go out to make a cup of coffee and he'll be like out there doing it. It's like, yes. Once I get him into it, then he loves it. It's so fun. Oh, paint by numbers more. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys have so many great suggestions. Journaling, music. I am like such a music person. I have so this is my desk where I work, and I have like my work monitors, and then I have like my personal stuff I scoot under. But right here in my whole little setup, I have my little robot lady is what we call her, so we don't set her off. But and I just will have her playing music like all day. I love all kinds of music too. Like my music, it's so random and so funny. Like it'll be you'll be listening to like Stevie Nicks, like in a vibe, and then the next song will be like old Eminem, and then the next song will be like Jessie J. I mean, it's just it's manic. It is just so all over the place. It's so funny. My kids get in the car and they're just like, "What is this?" Yeah. It's interesting because my 13-year-old suffers from pretty intense anxiety. And I've been like really watching him because he's been struggling with it a lot lately. He has a fantastic doctor and counselor, and he's good. Like he's getting amazing care. But um I've just been watching him to see like when it's worse, when it's better, like what triggers it. And so one of the things I've noticed is that when he's bored and has nothing to do, his depression and anxiety get worse and worse and worse. So I've been trying to keep him much busier, and it's been really good because it's been keeping me busier too. Um, and then it makes him feel better. So, like when he's feeling like that, when he's just like down in the dumps, I'm like, go clean your room. And he'll just look at me like, seriously? Like, trust me, because you'll be distracted. Because I know he'll find a fidget or something in there, and then he'll be distracted and he'll just play with it, and then he'll get his mind off of it. But if that doesn't happen and he cleans his room, then his environment is better. It's calmer. So then he's gonna feel better. So it's like win-win no matter what, but just trying to like navigate or like push him to do it. It's been really tough. This year has been just such a rough year for him. The bullying is no joke, you guys. It's man, teach your kids to be nice to other people's kids. I cannot I cannot believe the things that some kids say. It's just yeah, it breaks my heart. But school ends May 30th, literally 1 month from today. And then if everything goes according to plan, we will be able to buy a house and we will move. Oh man, you guys, for those of you that have been with me for a little, a little bit, I've been on this like journey of, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. I'm trying to get my kids out of Yuma because it's not good for them here. Not that there's anything wrong with Yuma. It's just not for us. But anyway, I'm like, oh, you guys, I'm so frustrated. I'm working so hard, and I paid off all my credit cards, and I'm like, okay, this is it. And I check my Credit Karma, and my credit score went up to 730. And I was like, yes, like that's it. Cause I just needed to be at a 680. That was it. I just needed to be at a 680. I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. And then I go to take out the loan, and they run my credit, and they're like, your credit's a 654. I'm like, what? No, it's not. Like, look at my Credit Karma app. It's 7:30. And they told me, and I did not know this. So here's like a little tip for everyone. Oh man, I'm so disappointed, you guys. Credit Karma runs off a Vantage score. So it's not a FICO score. So Credit Karma, that rates mean nothing. They mean nothing. So here I've been like busting my butt, and I'm just like, I'm stuck. The only other, with a 654 credit score, you have to have 5% down. That's like $30,000. I don't have $30,000, you know? So it's like, okay, this is one of those times when I talk to you guys about manifestation, right? And putting your faith and your trust in the universe, because I know that I am going to end up where I'm supposed to end up. And I just have to have that faith that everything is going to work out. And you know why I have to believe that and have to have that faith? Because it always has in the past, you know? And when something disappointing has happened in the past, it has always led to something so much better. So I just keep thinking like, okay, it's just, it is what it is. You know, it's just, I gotta hang in there and just keep on trucking along, you know, because I'm going to get there. And it always seems like when we want something, right? When we're manifesting something and we're like really, really like wanting it, right before we get it, there's a roadblock. There's like one last thing where you're like, seriously? But then you get through that thing and then you're good. So I feel like this is my last challenge where I'm like, okay, this is the last challenge. We just have to get through it. And what's meant to happen will happen. And, you know, it's like I tell you guys all the time, you can't sweat it, right? I mean, the blessing is that, so then I had to like put it in perspective, because like, oh man, this was yesterday. I think I had this conversation. So yesterday I could not have this conversation like this. Yesterday I'd be like, oh my God, it would have been terrible. But you know, today I've had time to think about it, and it's like, okay, well, the kids will be out of school in May, and they don't go back until the beginning of August. So I don't really have to buy a house. Like, I could wait until July. I mean, escrow takes 30 to 45 days, but you know, I could wait until like July. So it's like, okay, a lot could happen between now and July. So I'm not giving up because I'm closer than I was. You know, my credit cards are paid off and they will stay that way. So, hey, small blessings there, right? Like, it was the motivation I needed to pay off those credit cards. Oh, Fabiola, happy birthday on May 30th. Oh, Roger, your brother's is in Buckeye, brother-in-law. I am looking to buy, so my dream is to live in Sedona, but that's not my budget right now. But what is in my budget is the little towns around Sedona. So like Cottonwood or Camp Verde, or like one of those little towns. So so we'll be in like central, kind of more northern Arizona. I'm so excited. We moved to Yuma in 2021. Before that, we lived in Washington State, on the east side of Washington, eastern Washington. So it was like snow, 4 seasons. So moving here, we were like, oh God. We moved to the center of or the surface of the sun. Waiting for a call. Yeah, to see if you get a job. That's the worst, man. Come in. Yeah.
Oh, you're using your computer?
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
Yeah. Is there a way?
Yeah.
Sage, Glenn.
He's fine. You can leave him. Let me go out here in just a second. Hey. Sage wants to come say hello. Yeah, zebra pants. Everybody wants to live in Sedona. It's too expensive. I'm not going to pay that. I'm not going to pay that. And you know what? There are some super, super cute communities that still have the red rocks that are like 20 minutes away and so much more affordable. And there's so much like hiking and mountains and rivers and yeah. Sage, they're saying hi to you. This is my Mexican hairless dog. But he didn't get the memo that he's supposed to be hairless. He's a Xolo, and Xolos are the dog like from Coco, the movie Coco, where they're just have skin and then they have like sometimes hair on top of their head. Well, he has a recessive gene, so he is fluffy. So we have a fluffy Xolo, and then his sister that I also have, who's in the other room, she is she's a hairless one. They look so funny together. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. Thank you so much. Um, you know what's funny is that two of the houses that I was looking at were in Jerome. One of them was not so great, but the other one, it's in like Clarkdale, Jerome, and it's what I really, really wanted, and it's in my price range. And I like my realtor sent it to me about an hour after I found out what my situation was, and I was like, oh, it sucks. Jerome is so amazing. I would love to live in Jerome. Wait, a guy, George from Ancient Aliens, runs that bookstore in Cottonwood. Really cool guy. I didn't know that. That's so cool. So I have to tell you guys, okay, I need to get myself off this live because I need to go hang out with my kids. But I wanted to get on here and talk about fear. But before I get off, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about or share a funny. Oh, Maynard has a winery there. That's so funny. I love that. Okay, Jerome, you guys. I need to make it to Jerome. That's the goal. Okay. But I went to Sedona by myself one time. Just because I needed like to get away. And my oldest son was living here at the time. So he stayed here with his siblings and with the animals. It was amazing. I was able to like get away and like not stress at all. And I stayed in a really cute little kind of like a condo-y type thing. It had a beautiful view of the mountains. I got a freaking killer deal because I went in like the end of August or beginning of September. So the weather was still amazing, but it was like really inexpensive. And I stayed for like 2 nights and I hiked and I healed and I went to slide. It was amazing. It was amazing. I had such a good time. There's a video about it on my other channel, on my Bobby Reach channel. If you have to go like way back because it's been like a while now, but you can click on that if you want to check that out. But one of the things, yes, Nathan, I'm as soon as I get off here, I'm actually going to watch Kamala's speech. That's like my next thing because I want to see what she had to say. But one of the things I did was I went on a UFO tour. Okay. So I just did it for fun. I didn't do it because like I expected to see UFOs. I just, my kids and I went on a family vacation to Roswell, New Mexico, because we're like so into that stuff. So I was like, of course I'm going to go on a UFO tour. So I get out there and we go to this, like the top of this mountain, and Sedona's amazing because there's no light pollution. So it's super dark. So that means you can see every star in the sky. And I met up with this group with this like crazy guy. And I don't remember what his name was, but he was a nut. But so he was a Trumper. So I really kind of like only sort of half listened to a lot of what he said. I mean, I took it for like, what a grain of salt. Like it's like, okay, this is what, whatever. But then he started talking about other stuff that actually was credible and made sense. So here is the craziest thing in the world. In my group of people. Okay, so they give us these night vision goggles that are like military grade. This guy that's like leading the tour was like a guy that worked for like in the military doing this kind of stuff. He's like says he's like super, super smart, and I was just like, okay, sure, whatever. But then he went down the line at like of all of us and he looked in our eyes and he's like, you have astigmatism in your right eye, don't you? And this one guy's like, oh my God, yes, I do. And then he came up to me and he was like, you've been having trouble with your left eye lately, haven't you? I had been having my eye twitching. And I had thought to myself, I need to go to the doctor and have that checked out. But I didn't, like, hadn't done anything. And he was like, it's fine. And it was fine. But anyway, so that was like totally freaking crazy. But so we get these night vision goggles and we're looking up and he has this like laser pointer and he's shining it at stuff. And he's like, okay, that's a satellite. This is a that, that's a this. He's like explaining what we're looking at because there's a lot of, it is amazing how much stuff is in the sky that we don't even realize. So then he starts talking about this like satellite thing. And there was a girl next to me. She was by herself too. She started arguing a little bit with the guy that was like leading it. And they were arguing about the way that satellites go with like the orbit of satellites. And they were arguing and he was kind of like talking down to her. Like, I mean, he was a nice guy, but he had some like not great point or, you know, he had some not great moments. But he was like talking down to her like little lady. And she was like, I know because I work for SpaceX. I launch these satellites. And everyone was like, oh my God, holy shit. So I had a lady from SpaceX. Then there was another guy who was like a military expert and his girlfriend. And then there was another guy who was there by himself who was like a military guy from Australia. All of these people had knowledge of like different types of aircraft, what they could do, the lady with the satellites. I mean, I was in with like the educated people. I was like, if you're going to go UFO spotting with anyone, you want to be with this group because if that guy was going to lie, be like, oh, there was a UFO, that SpaceX girl would have been like, no, there's not. Let me tell you, there is so much activity in the sky, alien activity. You can call me crazy. I don't care. I saw it with my own eyes. It was amazing and mesmerizing and horrifying. And I have more questions than answers now. Like, I'm just so, I don't even, yeah, I'm so much more confused. It gave me so much more to think about. But then after, that was like a year and a half ago. So since I left, right, that crazy military guy that runs the tours now, the guy that I thought was like nuts, so much of what he said has either come true or has come out. So now I'm like, ugh, he might have been a Trumper, but he knew some stuff. So then that gives him credibility. And then I know what I saw and I know what he said it was. And I know what the lady from SpaceX said it wasn't. And the guys that knew the aircrafts were like, no, there's no way. Like, yeah, I don't know. You could go down the whole rabbit hole of, you know, is it the US government or like governments, militaries that have recreated these things and that's what we see up there? Okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to go down that whole thing, but I saw incredible stuff and I am going to leave it at that. And my dog is crying for me to let him out because he is trapped. So now it is time for me to officially say goodbye, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember to take a deep breath, relax. Don't stress, okay? When stuff gets stressful, go find something creative to do. But worrying about what may or may not happen is not going to help you, okay? Go on a UFO tour. Go to Sedona and go look at some UFOs. You'll be super glad you did. Okay, you guys, let's see if I can figure out how to log out of here. All right, you guys, have a good